Good morning, everyone, colleagues, our highly esteemed speakers, and most importantly, our students. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Evelyn Mukwaklo, and I am one of the trainee career guidance practitioner at the counseling department. I'm based here in Johannesburg, the Greater Johannesburg Regional Service Center. I'd like to welcome each and every one of you to the time management and goal setting workshop. I'm genuinely excited about this workshop because this is our first workshop of 2025, proudly presented by the Directorate Counseling and Career Development. So I hope you're ready for this workshop. And we mainly do the workshops to inspire and challenge you. So I hope we all came with an open mind, and let's take this opportunity to reflect on how we will apply the tips and knowledge to our personal and academic growth. So before I call on to our first speaker, I'd like to call Ms. Radingwani to come and do the opening and welcome. Ms. Radingwani, the visual floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Program Director. Good morning, students and colleagues. Let me take this moment and welcome you to the Time Management and Goal Setting Workshop. The purpose of this workshop is to provide you with practical strategies to manage your time successfully, set clear and achievable goals. By the end of the workshop, you will have actionable tools to help you take control of your time and accomplish your goals. Remember, how we manage our time shapes our success. So stay focused, stay committed, and keep moving forward. Best of luck with your goals. Thank you.
Without wasting your time, I'd like to call upon our first speaker. I'd like to present to you Ms. Mphatlele, who is the engagement lead and co-founder of Ijobi with a background in ICT, career coaching, and team dynamics. Ijobi is an HR tech company with a recruitment platform that has over 13,000 job seekers. It provides technology for employees and job seekers to connect. They also provide applicant tracking tools, AI matching tools, screening tools, and verification checks. Ms. Mphatlele will be presenting on time management to help you prioritize your tasks and empower you to take control of your time. Ms. Mphatlele?
Good morning, everyone. My name is Punso Boreni, and I'm from Ijobi. I'm with my colleague here, Mangele Panhlela, and she'll be doing the presentation on time management. And we'll also have a Minter on time management just to check in with everyone how they are feeling. And the workshop overview on our side will be challenges and strategies for the time management. I'm just going to tell you a little background about Ijobi. We connect job seekers and employers, and we do share different jobs on our platform from your entry level to senior level. And we also offer job seeking coaching services, and we do offer mock interviews and CV reviews at no cost. My colleagues will be typing in emails where you can be able to send your CVs for CV reviews and mock interviews. So the benefits of Ijobi as a job seeker, it reduces job seeking costs, and you can be able to send more job applications with limited access to the internet. So you can just register as a job seeker on our system using this number you see on the screen. You can just say 060-070-2065, and you can save the number and say hi. You'll be able to register and upload your CV on the WhatsApp. And also you can be able to send for job applications on our WhatsApp services. We also offer our SMS services, which will have to need to have R1.50 for you to send a CV using these services. You can dial the number 44151, and on the message you type CV star employer star, then you say job title. Then our system will package everything and send the CVs to the employer that you are sending your CV to. I've already covered the outcomes of our workshop on our site. I will kindly ask everyone to go to a Mentimeter on their phone. We just want to check in and to find out how are you guys feeling this morning before we can go to the actual presentation.
Okay, can you please go to www.mentimeter? For those that have their phones, we do know that somewhere, somehow you are being provided some element of connectivity. We want to ask you a few interesting questions about the topic today of time management. So there's a code there with what Bonso has shared. The code is 23829993. That's what you would put into the Mentimeter. We'd love to hear from you. And our question is, what comes into mind when you hear time management? What comes into mind when you hear time management? I've just put in the code again. Bonso, just make sure you share again and everybody is able to get onto the Mentimeter. The moment you're onto the Mentimeter, we'll see you and we'd love to just see you pressing hearts so that we know you're there. And then from there, we'd love to see your responses. What comes to your mind when you hear time management? You can use chat if you're struggling with the Mentimeter as well. And you will download this and share those with Gloria. Someone is saying stress. I know. I wasn't very good at managing my time. A lot of the times when I had to study, I did everything last minute. And then sometimes I would want to take in 12 chapters in one day, and it would not be possible. Some people are saying efficiency, some are saying anxiety, some are hearing what organization. Never enough time. That is so true. There's never enough time.
Someone is saying discipline.
Discipline, yes. And discipline is a powerful, powerful superpower. Some of us struggle with it a lot, but if we have discipline, it's very easy to stay consistent. Some people are saying motivation, some are saying panic.
Overwhelming.
Overwhelming. I'm a UNISA student, by the way. So I know exactly what happens, especially when it's around exam time or assignment time, and we're doing things in last minute. Deadlines, yeah. Someone is saying balancing in the chats.
And timetable.
Timetable. I hate that word, timetable. But hopefully today will help you with a little hacks that could support you with this concept of time management. Dedication and planning. Sometimes we're not so dedicated. Wow, I'm loving the responses, so there are so many responses.
There are so many. Someone saying pressure.
Pressure.
And fatigue.
Fatigue, yes. I remember when I was doing my teaching qualification, my God, when I was done, I just didn't want anything. I just wanted to forget about books, right? Demotivated, yeah, it can be demotivating. Control, yes. It's all about control, controlling our time, our resources. Beautiful. Priorities. Yes. Prioritization is very key and important when managing time. Sometimes we might focus on things that don't really matter, that are not going to have the impact that we want. Intentional. I love that. We need to be intentional about how we manage our time, where we spend our time, and what we do with our time. Schedule, due dates. There's a lot coming out of here. We're already done with some of the challenges that we are experiencing with time management. I'll allow Bonso to move on to the next one.
Okay, our next question is, what is your biggest time management challenge? Is it procrastination, distractions, poor prioritization, overcommitment, or lack of motivation? I see a lot of you having procrastination.
Yeah, procrastination is a big one. Hey, sometimes we don't feel like doing something. The honest truth is nobody ever feels like studying unless if you are like that, genius or you are that academic inclined person. But a lot of us struggle with procrastination when we have to study, when we have to do our assignments, and we tend to do things very, very last minute because we just don't feel like doing it, or we just don't feel like putting ourselves in this space to start doing. And then distractions, that's another one, right? WhatsApp, social media, family. Some of us are
TV.
students.
I forgot Netflix on the
Netflix,
TV.
yes. Yeah, that one takes our time. Sometimes I sit there and I'm like, the 4 hours I should have spent, could have done an assignment, or I could have submitted something or done something around the house, right? So the distractions are just too many nowadays. And all of that, with balancing our family, our lifestyle, having to eat and do everything else, it can be a bit much. Poor prioritization. We spoke about it before, around spending time on things that don't really matter, or doing the wrong assignment altogether, or just not knowing when your timelines are due and you prioritize the wrong stuff. Overcommitment, yes. Sometimes we take on too many subjects. I remember there was a year where I took on 8 subjects. My God, did I want to die? Because then I was just so overcommitted and I had to deregister some subjects at some point because I realized I'm going to fail because I've just committed too much. On top of that, I was working.
How many subjects did you register?
It was 8, I think
Oh
about
no.
8.
Meant
Then I
to
had to
be
deregister
5
a
when you
few.
are waking.
Yeah, when you're working, it can be a bit challenging. Some of us, I mean, with UNISA, we study part-time and so forth, and we have to balance everything else. You're lucky if you're a UNISA student and you get to do it full-time, because yeah, a lot of us, maybe a percentage of us, are full-time employees doing other stuff. Lack of motivation, that is a very tricky one. It talks to feelings again. We just never get the motivation when we need it, right? We get the motivation like later, or when we're really, really under pressure. Some people are saying some of their challenges are planning, multitasking, and sometimes inability to say no, which can talk to overcommitment. And yeah, I think the winning challenge is procrastination. Sometimes we're just sitting there and we know we have to do it, but we just never get to it.
Keep on postponing.
Yeah, and we keep on postponing.
Now, for me, I used to study a night before my exam, and I would pass.
Well, you're lucky because you can retain information. Some of us have to study months before, and we have to really take our time. Otherwise, we'll spend the money and fail. And when you are paying for your fees, you really get to focus, because then you realize that this is my money.
You're paying from your pocket.
Yes, you're paying from your pocket. But sometimes when it's NEPSAs or it's our parents, we take it for granted until you fail, and then you realize you have to change your attitude, your behavior, your mindset towards your studies. So we just spoke about this right now, right? The reality is it is hard to keep consistent when it comes to time management. It's not easy. I mean, I struggle with it as well. As much as my background is in life coaching and I support other people and I do a form of many things, but I do struggle as well with staying consistent. And sometimes the motivation just doesn't come. And then we'll talk about some of the hacks and some of the things we can do just to support us to be able to then get over some of these struggles. The challenges of time management, we've just spoken about them. People overcommit. You know you've got an assignment due next week, but what do we do on Saturday? We decide to go out with our friends, or we decide to prioritize something else. And then Tuesday, gee whiz, we are now having a headache because now we have to actually sit down and focus on what we need to do. But I'll tell you little things as we move along that can help you, that might not necessarily be traditional when it comes to time management, that have worked for me and that I've also seen work for other people that are quite productive in my circles. We can go to the next slide. These are some of the tools that we all know, and I'm sure all of us are using some of these tools. What I used to do in the past, I would maybe schedule a calendar, I'd have a reminder to remind me to study, but what do? We'll just snooze it, right? And not do it. And then I'll have a long to-do list. By the time the day ends, I'll be so frustrated because I've only ticked off one thing and I just feel like I am just not moving. So we have so many tools that are at our disposal. There are apps, there are all these interesting things, but sometimes our behavior doesn't support these tools and we end up just being stuck or just not following through with what we said we will do. I see someone in the chat saying, I don't really have time to focus due to technical issues regarding connectivity. Okay, is it regarding this session? I am sorry, it's being recorded. Later, you can download the session again and listen to the session. Some of the popular strategies that you all might know, it's the 80-20 rule. For me, I always look at what is the most key thing I need to achieve in order to get 80% of the results. You know, sometimes you look at your spread of assignments or your spread of tests, and then there's that one test that you can see has more marks or more points. And then what you would do is you focus more on that, because you know by getting more marks on that particular test or assignment can unlock you to qualify to write that exam. With UNISA, I know if you don't do your assignments, I don't know if it's changed, but you don't qualify for the exams altogether if you do not submit your assignment. So already you can see that your 20% is the assignments, because that's what will get you the 80% into the exam room. So it's also looking at what is more effective, what should I be focusing on? That will get me the best results. The other techniques that are out there, and you might be using some of them, is prioritization using the urgent versus importance matrix. And I'm sure some of you know about Steve Covey, where you have the urgent, important, urgent, non-important, but it's figuring out where do you spend your time. A lot of the times we find ourselves putting out fires all the time because we leave things for last minute. So we need to learn how to be in the quadrant where we are doing strategic things that are important, and in the long run, they'll give us the impact that we want. The other strategy that other people use is doing the hardest task first, and then doing the easier stuff after. For other people, for me personally, I like doing the easier things first, and then they ease me into doing something. If I just hit something hard, I just let go. I was doing math yesterday and looking at quadratic equations, and then I was trying to solve this problem, this big problem, and I realized this is going to turn me off. Let me just maybe step back and look at what are the key formulas I should know. And then as I did that, it moved me slowly into me doing the topic and studying. And I was actually quite happy. I did an hour of studying. The other one is the Pomodoro technique, which is widely known, where you can do something for 25 minutes and take a break. I think that helps because sometimes if you're thinking about having to sit down, having to spend hours studying, it can be a lot. But I do 45 minutes of studying and then 10 minutes of breaking. And then even when I plan, I try and plan for relaxation, things that I enjoy. I try and set the mood so that I really get into what I'm supposed to do, because it's all in the mind. That's just the reality of what it is. It's all in the mind, and it's all about habits, and it's all about how we do it. So someone is saying bad habits are also a hindrance. If you're a smoker addicted to nicotine, quit now or it will hamper your concentration. Okay, that's true. I mean, your brain gets affected to a certain degree without me knowing much about what smoking does to the brain. So these are some of the popular strategies. You might know more, right? But these are some of the simple strategies to try and use. We can go to the alternative methods. There are other methods, because sometimes scheduling, calendaring, reminders, they just don't work. One of the tactics that I use is to do one key thing a day. So what I look at is, okay, after everything, what is key, what is important? And then I would try and prioritize, but I'll always make sure that in the day, I do one key thing that I know will impact the rest of the day. And then what I see is that if I do one key impactful thing a day, I can achieve 7 things by the end of the week. So think about that chapter, or think about your study routine, or think about the subjects that you have to do. In math, if you were to do one key problem a day, by the end of 7 days, you would have done 7 key problems in mathematics. If it's a chapter for you, you can do one key chapter a day. By the time the week ends, you've done 7 topics. So that's the approach that I like taking when it comes to alternative ways of planning. The other one is that I visualize my day and I look at, okay, what will tell me that I was productive today? And then I would try and focus on doing those things for the day. And then I would do an achieved list at the end of the day instead of a to-do list. Then I'd write down all the things that I've achieved for the day. And I find that refreshing and motivating for me, because then I would try and visualize the day, be intentional about what is it that I want to achieve for the day. Someone said intentional earlier on, right? And then at the end, write an achieved list to say, for the day, this is what I've achieved. And if I look at the list and I think, look, it's not aligning to the vision that I have, I'll try and adjust my day to try and make sure that when I write that achieved list, I write the things that I know are impactful and it's aligned with the vision and the intention that I have in terms of what I want to output for the week or for the day. It's up to you. But setting an intention every day in the morning, very, very, very important. So that at the end of the day, when you measure, you're able to measure some of the things that will inspire you or will push you in the direction that you want. Other alternative methods is energy-based scheduling. Some people are productive in the morning, some people are productive in the evening. These days, I don't know what I am. Sometimes I find myself very productive in the evening, and then that's what I do. That's when I'll study and I'll try and chip in some few things. Sometimes I'll find that I'm very productive in the morning, and then what I'll do is I'll try and do a few assignments, a few topics, and so forth. When I still used to be in the corporate space, I used to arrive at the office at 6. I was doing my honors with NISA, and then I would arrive at 6 before all my colleagues would arrive for that 2 hours. I'll be doing my assignments, and it will be a daily thing. Very important to be consistent, because if you do it today and then tomorrow you don't do it, it becomes very difficult to achieve the results that you want to achieve. So know yourself, know when you're most productive. Some people are AM people. So if you have to sleep during the day and then study later, great for you. I'm not a cross nighter. It doesn't work for me. I found that when I did that, I would fail. Bonso?
You don't study after 12.
I'm not very good at that. It's either I'll study in the morning or and so forth. But really, if I don't sleep, I'm not going to function well in the exam. Otherwise, I'm going to have blackouts. Yes. Trevor says, I'm a night owl. So you know that you're a night owl, Trevor. So meaning that you know you must do the bulk of the work at night because you're a night owl. Godfrey is saying he's good at studying after 12. That's awesome. So know yourself, right? The other thing is when you are grouping your assignments or grouping your tasks as well, make sure you group them in a way that is productive. Maybe there's a chapter that you need to cover that's going to impact another chapter. You group them together and you batch your work accordingly, so that you're able to then take the energy from the one task and move it to the other. Rafilo says, I'm a morning person. Great, Rafilo. Then you know you push your studying in the morning, not in the evening, because it's not going to work for you. And then also, being able to reverse schedule things. Sometimes maybe schedule the stuff you like first. Maybe watch that Netflix for an hour, but have the discipline to know. Ponce said, no. Have the discipline to know that, okay, I'm going to watch Netflix for an hour. I'm going to come home, decompress first, have, whatever snack that I like. And then from there, I can move into my space. But always make it nice, enjoyable. Make your space nice. If you like music, if you like, certain smells or scents or whatever, make the space in such a way that it will make you want to study. But let me tell you a trick.
Quiet space.
A quiet space. I prefer music. I play music and loud music, funny enough, and that's what gets me going. Again, no one hard fast rule will work for everybody. Look at what works for you, right? That's the very important thing. Do what will make you happy. And then the other one is having an accountability partner. I mean, in the past, people would have groups, study groups, and so forth. Now I found that it helped me. If I didn't feel like it, then I'll just, get my colleague knocking on the door, and then my colleague would come in. Bonso wants to say something about that. She says she has different accountability partners for different things.
Yeah, now for me, I had like different partners, like friends per se. I had a friend who I know, this one is my study friend, and this one is my social friend. When I go to the library, I knew I'll go with this one. When I go to somewhere else, I'm going with this one. But that one kept me going, honestly.
Okay, so yeah, if you're socially also in a depth and you're not an outgoing person, so she's saying she had a social partner who would also remind her of the parties and the passions at campus. Do what works for you at the end of the day. But what I want to tell you as a key thing to take away is you'll never feel like doing something at that particular moment. Things like going to gym, study, I mean, those things don't just come. You'll not always be motivated, but what you need to understand is just do it. You know, the Nike slogan, just do it. Sometimes don't buy into the thinking, don't buy into the feeling. Sometimes all you have to do is take that gym bag, walk into the gym, and just change. And then from there, by the time you climb on one machine, you don't even want to leave the gym. Same with studying. All you have to do is make the time, take that book, sit down on your chair, and just start with one thing and build up, right? Again, different things work for different people. So in terms of some of the inquiries that you need to do with yourself, because sometimes the tools are there, the strategies are there. However, again, the motivation is not there. So then question yourself, what is making me struggle with managing my time? What could be contributing to this? And it might be something outside of the actual books. It might be maybe personal issues that you're going through, or it might just be the fact that maybe you failed an assignment and you just feel like, oh my gosh, all is lost. But always interrogate what's behind your lack of motivation so that you can deal with the root cause that's stopping you from doing what you're supposed to do. Sometimes we feel a bit of overwhelming burnout. Also question, are you doing too much? We've spoken about overcommitting, right? Sometimes overcommitting is not good. Sometimes just doing that one key thing a day or a week is all that you need to get it going, right? And then sometimes we are stressed. A lot of people were talking about stress earlier on. We're talking about all of these challenges that we tend to experience. But then at times we need to stop and actually go and get help when it comes to some of these challenges that are deeper than just, the discipline and the focus or the consistency, because sometimes there's something deeper that's happening in our lives that's really blocking us from focusing on what we need to do in terms of the task at hand. And I just saw your video earlier on. You do have wellness programs, you have support. So make sure you go and get that support, because we before we are students, we are mothers, some of us, we are husbands, some of us, we are brothers, we are family members, and there's a lot that happens in our lives and that happens in the background. It can impact what we try and do into other parts of our lives, especially when it comes to studying and so forth. So my call to action to you, in a nutshell, and to summarize what we've shared with you today, is address the root causes. Look at what's making you slump, what's making you not want. But sometimes don't look into it too much. Maybe it's nothing. You just need to stand up, sit down, and just make sure you do what you're supposed to do. And also use visualization techniques. They do help a lot. Imagine yourself paying for these fees and then a year down the line, you've got a zero. Sometimes even looking at a negative situation can get you out of your chair. I used to be obsessed with the 600 LB Live. If I didn't want to go to gym, I'll just watch that. And then after watching it, you'll see me grabbing my bag, going like, yo, I need to go to gym, right? Because I don't want to end up like that. But also visualize what it will feel like to achieve, to get that master's, to get that honors, to get that PhD, right? To get all the accolades that you need. And then try different techniques. Not all the techniques will work for everybody, right? And then have little rewards for yourself, whatever it is. Maybe at the end of the day, if you study for that hour or 2 hours, you can reward yourself maybe with a snack, or you can reward yourself with a date with your friends, or you can study the whole day and then reward yourself with a party later on. But know how to have delayed gratification, because if you don't, the reality is you're going to struggle. And you reach third year, your friends will be graduating. Let me tell you a story about myself. I went to University of the North for my undergraduate degree. And when I reached my third year, I had a lot of challenges that I had experienced. And then next year, when my friends were graduating, I literally moved provinces because I thought like my life is over. And then people were like all WhatsApping me. Back then, not WhatsApp, but SMS, calling. Why are you not at the graduation? It was the biggest thing in my life, to go through that and not be able to graduate with my peers. And I promised myself that I'll go back and make sure that I get my degree. So you don't want to be that person. You don't want to be like me. People are graduating their queues and then you're not there. It is very, very heartbreaking to go through something, whereas you could have just changed your mindset. You could have just given up that hour. And sometimes, guys, it's not about studying for 5 hours. Sometimes it's about studying that hour every day, being consistent about it, right? And then ultimately the small things will make up the big results. Don't be afraid to get help, and then set realistic goals, right? Do not overcommit. Set realistic things that will help you get the motivation going and so forth. You can't just start by running a comrades marathon, right? You will die. Whereas you have the capability to run 5K. So start with the 1K, the 2K, the 3K, and build yourself up to the comrades marathon. As a key takeaway, right, is simplify your commitments, break down your goals. They're going to talk about goal setting just now, and just really listen about the strategies that you can use for yourself in terms of setting goals. Remember, in our lives, we've got a vision, right? The vision of us wanting to work somewhere, the vision of us wanting to do something. That's why we're all studying. That's why we are doing what we're doing. Hold on to that vision. But then when you set your goals must align with that vision so that you can get to the destination of where you need to get to. And remember, consistency is key. Small movements make up a big picture at the end of the day. That's all we have to share with you for today around time management. I'm going to hand over to Bonso. She's got a Mentimeter. Please, I'm loving the engagement. Thank you very much. It's awesome. And we really love to hear from you. So we want to ask you two last questions. Now that you know, or you might have known some of this information for yourself already, but we want to know, what are you going to start doing from today? And we want to know, what are you going to stop doing from today based on some of the nuggets that we've shared with you and our personal experiences that we've shared with you. So we'll just get into the Mentimeter. Just hold on a second. You go again to www.mentimeter, excuse me, mentimeter.com. And then she has a number there up already. It's, make it bigger, so it's 71844435. That's the number. Okay. So what new habits or actions will you start doing today? If you haven't started, for those that have started, how are you going to keep the momentum going? In the chats as well, you can start answering what new habits or actions will you start today based on what we've discussed. The one key thing, accomplishment a day, sounds like a good start. Awesome, love that. I love that achieved list. Yes, at the end of the day, you look at what you've achieved. Focus on one key thing a day. That is awesome. By the time we reach the compounded, in finance or in money, they like talking about compound interest, right? Even that 0.001 times some, 7 days becomes something at the end of the day. Waking up early, I can have more time. Thank you for that. Priority list is very key. Yes, know what is the key things to achieve that will make you successful and see the results that you want to see. Have a schedule and try to manage my anxiety. Yeah, and if with an anxiety, really go deeper. What is causing me to have this anxiety? Now I know, hey, when I do maths, guys, and I see a problem, I just want to throw the book away. So I'm just learning to say, okay, instead of just wanting to solve the problem, start with the rules, start with understanding what is required, and then slowly build up, right? Oh, I'll try the Pomodoro technique. Yes, working 25 minutes, taking a 5-minute break, or it can be working 15 minutes, taking a 15 minutes break. By the time you know it, you've covered 4 hours in a day in terms of studying. Linda Guthle says, biting small bits daily to take down the elephant. Yes, how would you eat an elephant? One piece at a time, right? Case Minya says, set clear goals, avoid distractions, create a schedule, use time management tools, delegate tasks. Yes, delegate where possible, right? Because sometimes we want to do everything and it's not possible. Louisa says, sleep early at 7:30 and wake up at 2:30. Yeah, if it works for you, Louisa, do it. That's what I would encourage you to do. Do not overcommit until you can take on more work. Yeah, please just remember, taking things easy and not overloading yourself. It makes things a bit more enjoyable. Stop planning and find myself in front of my books. Yes, just sit on that chair. Just do it. Just like Nike says. Thank you very much. I think I'm loving the responses, and then we can move on to the next one just to close the session. So, what are the bad habits or distractions you will leave behind? What are you leaving behind based on our discussions today? Someone is asking about face tutorials. I don't know. Gloria will answer that one around face tutorials. Put time limits on apps like X and TikTok. Yes. I have my app on the phone. When it's 9 o'clock, it starts dimming everything and it forces me to be conscious of the fact that I need to sleep. People will stop procrastinating. Yes. Thank you, Aniki. Stop that procrastination. Just do it. Thank you, everyone, for being so engaging. I love this. And call us again, Gloria. We had a good time today. And if you need our services, just remember we've got a website, www.ajovi.com. You can go and register yourself as a job seeker. We have numerous different types of opportunities. Sometimes they're not on the job board, but if you are registered on our database, we're able to find you. Use our services as well if you need help with job seeking coaching as well. And then go follow us on social media. On LinkedIn, we have a lot and wealth of information that we share with you around job seeking. Follow us on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook. We always sharing information and tidbits that can support you to do better in your job seeking journey. Host Gloria, I'm done. Thank you very much for this opportunity, and I look forward to seeing you guys very soon. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Mpatlele and Bonto. By the way, it's Evelyn, who's the program director. And I just want to say that your presentation was really beautiful. And I like how students are so interactive. And thank you for sharing such valuable resources with us. I'm sure it'll come in handy for most students. And I hope guys, you took screenshots and you noted down their details. And I mean, we can all agree that time management is crucial, right? And also, so is being self-aware. I just wanted to quickly mention that we do have a mentorship program that we're running, and can you please register for it if you need a mentor? I'd like to call on to our next speaker, which is Mr. Megwa, who is a student counselor at our main campus, Florida. Mr. Megwa will be presenting on goal setting, providing you with tips on how to set and achieve your goals. Mr. Megwa?
As they indicated that I'm Mr. Kagiso Megwa, I'll be doing goal setting with you today after such a great time with Ms. Mpatlele. Most of the things that she touched on, I'll be touching on them as well. So unfortunately, I'm not that handsome. I won't allow you to see my face today. Maybe next time. But what I want to say is that it was a great presentation. Most of the things that we heard from Ms. Mpatlele are some of the things that I'm going to be touching on and putting emphasis on them. But what she said is true. Some of us are like her, especially myself with regard to the cross-nighting. I'm not that kind of a person. I really love my sleep. If I have to sleep at 8 in the evening and wake up at 3 a.m., I do that. So I'm more of a morning riser than a night owl. There are those who are cross-nighters. I'm not that one. So I'm not going to be competing and comparing myself with people who can go throughout the night. Even at our church, when they say night prayer, hey, I think I'll be there and later on I disappear or I struggle to finish the session. So without any waste of time, I'm Kagiso Megwa, the student counselor at Florida campus, as they've introduced me. And then first things first, before we come here, you might need to ask questions before you get answers. Yes, you already got the answer from Ms. Mpatlele, but what is the question? The question is, why do we need to manage time? Why do you need time management? For what? Why do you need to manage time? What will happen if you don't manage time properly? What will happen if you just live as if there's no tomorrow? So what I said here is that there's no goal without a vision or a dream. So you manage time so that you can be able to achieve your dreams and to meet your goals. So that's the reason we need to manage time. Because if you don't manage time, time will manage you and time runs out. So you also need to have a vision of where you want to see yourself. A vision or an image is what we call imagination. She said dream and see yourself being somewhere, being able to reach something else. Like now you might be a first year or an undergrad student, dream of that day of graduation. See yourself walking that stage. See yourself, your enemies, being disappointed that you made it. And you go on stage saying, oh, mama, I made it. And your family being proud, your enemies being disappointed. So you need to have a vision of where you want to see yourself. It could be a mental image. It could be a picture that you cut from a magazine, you paste it on your ceiling or behind your door, or you put it somewhere else where you can constantly remind yourself. The second thing is, all of us want to see ourselves here at the finish line, being the ones crossing the finish line, maybe in 2 hours, 28 minutes and 51 seconds, winning the New York Marathon. Maybe that's your goal. But this one is not only for marathons, but it's the graduation day. It's the wedding day. It's the day you're going to sing that song, see what the Lord has done. It's the day that you want to see yourself, shaming those who never believed in you and going to those some of those teachers who said you will not make it in life, and you want to go to them and say, nah, 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 nah. Huh? Sometimes you want to look at your mistakes, at your failures, and laugh at them and say, thank you. That was a great lesson. You taught me a great lesson. So we need to have goals and objectives in life that we need to achieve. You need to be aiming for something. You cannot just live for the sake of living. What are you aiming for? What are you living for? The day you die in this world, and then, or the day that you say, I've achieved my goal, what is that goal? What is it that you are living for? Because if you don't have a specific goal, you'll just be chasing the wind. I was watching a video this week as I go through my YouTube messages, and then Pastor T.D. Jakes or Bishop T.D. Jakes said, timing is everything. There's a video that I'm going all over and over again through his teaching. He says, timing is everything. That there's time for everything, but timing is everything. You can say a right thing at the wrong time. You can chase the right goal at the wrong time. You can chase, the right goal at the wrong time, or chasing the wrong goal at the right time. And timing also speaks to you showing up. Sometimes you show up in a place where you are not supposed to show up, and you get, bummed by a blessing. There are people who just landed on a scene after the thieves who went for a cash heist, and then their car rolled, and they all died there, and they had stashes of money in their bags, and they go like, "Oh God, you are so good. God's timing is perfect. I was so broke and wondering how I'm going to pay my fees. I just come across these thieves who stashed their stealings in the backyard of my home, and you find it's 3 million." But timing is everything. So my system is taking. Okay, now we need to have objectives of goal setting. Why do we have to have goals that we need to achieve? For us to achieve goals, we need to have objectives. The objectives of goal setting is to keep focus, is to also help to motivate us. When you have objectives, or you put objectives there, you get motivated to say, out of 10, I've gone through 2. So far, 2 down, 8 to go. Or now I'm at 8, there's now 2 to go. It also keep track of progress, to see where and how far you've come, or how far you still need to go. A GPS to a particular destination, it will you will reach your destination in this particular time. When you're using a GPS, it even gives you the red flags, which routes to avoid. There's traffic on the N1 South. So the alternative route is for you to turn by Centurion, take the old Johannesburg Road, and reconnect the highway again at Woodmead. At least you know what to expect along the road. But life is not like that. And also the objectives help us for development, personal development. You are not the same person that you were before you attended time management this morning. You have grown. There are some things that you need to cut off. There are some things that you were busy judging yourself on, and you went like, oh, Mampatlel, you are hitting on me. You cannot just come and listen like you're listening to a sermon and you go back home and then unrepentant. The objectives also help us to complete the course. There's an obstacle course that you are in. The obstacle course of your life. You finish your developmental milestones. So you complete the course and you see yourself, now I'm not a teenager anymore. Now I'm a young adult. Now I'm an adult. Now I'm a mother. So what is the ultimate goal that you want to achieve? I also have a question now for you. My question is, what is your goal? Why do you register the qualification that you registered for? Some of you registered the qualification because your friends are registering for it. Some of you are in this qualification, but it's not taking you to your ultimate goal. I see someone say, I'm doing high certificate in law, but it might not be your goal. This is not your goal. Your goal might want to be an advocate. You want to be a judge. That is your goal. The higher certificate is the means to an end, is one of those. It's part of the process, but it's not your destination. Your goal is your destination, where you will say, I have arrived. Yes, you are doing BSc computing, but I can tell you it's not what you want. If you had another way, you would not even be studying. You just want to become an advocate. You just want to be a computer geek. You want to be a businessman. You want to be a millionaire or whatever. What is your goal? And your goal and my goal are different. Please don't try to convince me to chase your goals, because I don't know where you're going with your goals, what you're going to do with those goals, because I know where I want to go. I know my destination. When I get to a taxi rank, I take a taxi that takes me to my goal, to my destination. I don't just pick any taxi and the last one. The taxi is about to leave, last one, and I don't know where the taxi is going, and I just jump in. I don't mind sitting in a taxi for 3 hours as long as it takes me to my destination. Yes, the other taxis will be coming, getting full and going, coming, getting full and going. Such is life. People will come and register short courses, they pass, they even slaughter goats, they slaughter chickens, and then throw a graduation party just for a short course. But you remember that your 4-year degree, your 3-year degree, your 7-year degree is worth waiting for. So don't just rush into making decisions. Now the question is, where do we go from here? After you have identified your goal, where to from here? Where do we start? You cannot just have a goal. It's more like having a dream. For you to realize your dreams, you need to wake up. Some people are in dreamland. Some people are still dreaming. They have beautiful dreams. They saw themselves marrying that hunk in their dream, living in that mansion, driving that thing, staying and going to places like this and that. But they never wake up. They're living in dreamland. But they say a journey of 1,000 miles starts with a first step. So you need to take a first step. You need to start somewhere. You need to rise up and wake up and tell yourself, I'm not going to be dreaming. I need to go somewhere. I have places to go to. I have people to see. And then in that process, there are some people that you need to cut off, unfortunately. Unfortunately, there are some things that you need to share along the way. There are some people that you need to block and delete. There are people that you should not see anymore in your life because they are not taking you to your dreams. So if you really want to achieve your goals, there are some sacrifices that you need to make. There are some sacrifices that you need to do. It's like if you have to go throughout the whole night study, you have to do that. You have to pay the bills. Race marathon, as Ms. Mpatla was saying, that some of you just want to wake up and do the race marathon. But we start first with a 2 kilometer. You do a 5K, you do 10K, you do a 15, you do a 25, you do a 32, you do a 42. Then you can see your progress, but you start somewhere. This is where most of us are. Now is the beginning of the year, it's 2025, here we are. You see, it's different colors, it's different qualifications, it's different dreams. Some of them, they are even sponsored by a particular company. They're all nicely dressed up with a Nike, with a Reebok, with Adidas, with New Balance, and with all this, with Hookah and everything. But not, your dressing does not guarantee you to win. You might be running barefoot without any sponsors, but you might find that you are the one who's going to make it. Don't be intimidated by people who speak big English and think they are the ones who will be on the podium at the end of the year. When I started at university, I met other students. We introduced ourselves to each other. We are still new. We are at first year, majoring in psychology and English, and someone introduced themselves and they speak that European English, and you already get intimidated to say, I'm going to study English with this person. I think I'll be the last in the class. And the nice thing about varsity, especially full-time university, is that the results are published on the notice board. Yes, without names, but there's a student number. So I always made sure that I cram the student numbers of those that I was competing with without them knowing. You know that when you were passing your grade 12, you knew the surnames of people, you knew the exam numbers of the people that you were competing with. So when you check on the newspaper, you would even go and check them if they made it or not, whether they got a high certificate or a diploma or a bachelor, because you are competing with them. So when I got to varsity, majoring in English and psychology many years ago, and then I was intimidated by people who were coming from these fancy schools. But I come from a rural high school where our teacher was teaching us English in Setswana. She would speak English and try to break it down for us so that we can be able to digest it, because that's how and where we come from. We enrolled, we wrote the first assignment, we wrote the first test, the marks were on the notice board. We went there and checked our names. You don't start with yours. You start first with the ones that you are competing with. You start first with the ones that you're competing with and check how they got or how much they got. Some they got the 45s, they got 50s. And lastly, you check yourself. You find that you got a 70. They got the 40s, they got the 50s. But they speak big English outside class. When you are sitting at the lawns, at the cafeteria, at the library, they're speaking nice, impressive English. You get intimidated. Sometimes you can't even hear the word that they are saying. But this is where we were starting. And today, I'm sitting here at UNISA as an employee, but it's very sad and heartbreaking to realize that those people that were speaking big English, 50% of them did not meet it. I don't understand. Maybe the English from the university was too big for them or not. So this is the ultimate goal. This is where we are, but we are all aiming to be here. We're all aiming to be the ones that are holding the first position, taking the champion's medal. And then there's also necessities for goal setting. So if you're setting goals, there's things that you need to take with you that will help you to achieve your goals. You need to have faith. You need to have belief in yourself. Believe that, yes, you don't have everything, you don't know everything, but you believe that you will make it. Secondly, you need to have ambition. There are people who are lacking ambition. They don't live for anything. They just say, I'll see how the sun rises tomorrow. You need to have ambition. You also need to have perseverance. Some things take time. In that video by Pastor TJ, he says, good things take time. Quality things take time. But cheap things, they come quick and they disappear quickly as well. You also need to have patience. You need to have determination. Be determined. Even if you get rejected, even if you fail 2 assignments, tell yourself that I'm going to write that exam. As long as I have the 10 mark and I qualify, I'm going to the exam. Don't write yourself off. You cannot be the player and the referee at the same time. If the lecturer said that you did not have enough, a 10 mark, but you qualify for exam, just go and write the exam. And you come out having passed, because some people go to the exam with a high 10 mark and they fail because they are too relaxed. You also need to have self-control and discipline. This is one of the biggest. This is one of the biggest, not only for goal setting, but for life. There's many good people out there. There's great people out there, but when they lack self-control, they disappear. They appear on newspaper pages, having done something, having stolen 1,000 rand, but their salary is 1 million per month. Someone stole tissues at his workplace. He can afford to buy anything, anytime. But because of lack of discipline, they find themselves all over the show. You also need to be passionate about what you do. You need to work hard. If need be, you know that you are not the brightest, but at least work hard. Put some effort. and you will achieve your goals. Listening skills. For you to achieve your goals, let me tell you something. Listening skills, I'm not talking about the literal listening, but I'm also talking about you be able to sniffing around for opportunities around. Sometimes you are studying this particular qualification and it's getting outdated. Something out there is happening. Something out there is brewing. So if you have listening skills and you are searching around, you are researching of the new development. If I may ask now, amongst us here who are in the audience, how many of us know about the coming 5 years? The direction of the economy. These are the things that we need to look at. These are the things that you need to listen to. Start listening to business news. Start listening to investments news. I'm not talking about cryptocurrency, but I'm talking about where are we going? Which direction is the world going? Which direction is the market going? Will this qualification that I'm doing still take me to where I want to go? I don't know. And be observant. Open your eyes. Open your eyes. Watch and learn. Watch and learn and sit there in a little corner and watch as if nothing is happening, but you know that you are calculative. Be observant. Observe. And you'll realize later that actually I don't need to put too much stress on this. There's also secrets for setting goals. That's what we call the SMART rule. The SMART rule is one of the most used terms in project management, in construction, in life, in everything. Sometimes you don't need to work hard, but you need to work smart. There are people who want to lift weights and do all these things and carry the world on their shoulders, but sometimes it's not necessary. It's not. You just need to be smart. There are people who are smart and there are some people who are hard. So which one are you? So the SMART rule says the S stands for specific. Be specific on what you want to achieve. Be specific. Don't say everything. When you go to a restaurant, when they bring you the menu there, or a friend want to buy you lunch, or a boyfriend or your or anyone want to buy you something, they ask you, what do you want to eat? And you will be somewhere there, undermine yourself. No, whatever. Whatever. Just because you're not paying, you should not be a beggar. You should be able to know what you want. Secondly, you need to have measurable goals. Your goals need to be specific and measurable. You need to know that UNISA says that we give you 8 years to complete a 3-year degree. But it does not mean you're going to do it for 8 years. It's 3 years, but you need to know when and how. Don't set goals that are unachievable. Set goals that are attainable or achievable, so that you can get motivated, you can get encouraged in what you do. You also need to be relevant. Don't do something that is outdated. Like now, I feel so bad. I used to buy original music. I don't like downloading because I wanted to support the industry. So I bought lots of CDs. Now I don't know what to do with them. If there's someone in the group here who can help me to convert my music into something, please help me out. Because I have lots of CDs and DVDs in my house because I wanted to support our artists out there. So now I'm not relevant anymore because my car radio is not playing CDs. In my house, I don't have a system that plays CDs anymore. Please, guys, help me out. I want to be relevant. I want to be relevant. You come to my house and I tell you I have this particular nice music I want to play for you, but unfortunately, I don't have the device anymore. Lastly, the SMART rule says that you need to be time-bound. Every goal has to be timed. You need to know how long you're going to do what you're doing and how long it will take you. Don't just waste your time doing something that's irrelevant. So there's also long-term goals, that different kinds of goals. There's long-term and short-term goals. There are some goals that take long. There are some goals that are short-term goals, but they are also a building block to the long-term goals. Short-term goals, going to town. Someone does not see it as a goal. But if you don't reach town, I'm telling you, you did not achieve your goal. Passing a class or a classwork or a test, writing the first assignment is a short-term goal. Completing the first semester, that's a building block towards achieving your degree. That first assignment is either a make it or break it. You might miss the first assignment and don't qualify for the exam. Long-term goals is achieving your degree, getting a job, getting married, buying a car or a house. So these are some of the short and long-term goals. I don't know what your goals are. The ones that I put here, they are not a blanket approach, but you know your goals. You know where you want to go. And then now we need to know how to set our goals. Firstly, identify the purpose, the aim. What is it that you want to achieve? Secondly, plan how to achieve. You need to strategize. What is your strategy? Implement your action. There are people who have nice ideas, who have nice dreams in their heads, nice innovations in their head, but they have not implemented those things. So it's just useless. We don't even believe that you have that in your head because you cannot see it unless you implement it. So what is goal setting? Goal setting is 70% planning, 10% of your mission, and 20% achievement. When we see you on the graduation stage, we don't know the 70% that you are putting in. We don't see it. We only see the 20%. We see you wearing a black gown with nice hair, nails, nice suit, walking on the stage, but we don't know that there were modules that you failed. We don't know that you had to go through discussion classes and there were some modules that you could not understand the concepts. So 70% dedicated to planning. Someone said, if you give me an axe to chop off the bush, I will spend 70% or 80% of my time sharpening my axe so that it gives me less time to chop off the bush. So some people will do the opposite. They will want to take 70-80% of their time wanting to chop off the bush and 10% sharpening their tool. So a sharper tool makes your job easier. A blunt tool will take you longer to achieve your goal. So what is it that you need to do in your 70%? Put more effort in your planning, less effort in your mission, and then you achieve your results in 20%. Did I lose signal?
No, you are good.
Okay, thank you. All right, my apologies for that. This network is sometimes failing us. So let me quickly pass here so that we finish in time. Then there's also steps to setting goals. I said, number one, you need to have a vision or your dream, but please wake up. Don't just dream and have a nice dream in your head and without doing anything about it. Secondly, you need to have plan of action. What are you going to do about it? Thirdly, you need to have a mission. That's the how part. How are you going to approach your goal? And then you also need to gather resources. Gathering resources might be your study material, might be textbooks, might be people that are doing the same qualification as you. It might be also gathering money for you to pay your fees. You also need to prioritize. After you gather those things, after you receive your study material, you are registered for 5 or 10 modules, all of them, the study material, they are in front of you, but you need to prioritize which one are you going to start with, the difficult one or the easy one, or which one are you going to start with. So what I'm trying to say is that take the first step. The important thing, you can plan, you can prioritize, but if you don't take the first step, you are as good as dead. Take the first step. You need to implement. Then we see what you've been carrying inside of you. Lastly, you need to review your actions. After you finish everything and you implement, go back again to step number one. Have another vision. Go for the next one. Don't just relax, say that, no, I achieved that one. I got a distinction in that module. Then I relax. You passed only one module and got a distinction and you think it's a degree. It's not a degree. It's one module out of the 30 or the 40 modules that you are doing. So you also need to have a meta perspective, a vision, a mission, implementation, monitoring, and evaluation. So it is more like the previous slide that we did. So now I'm going to ask my colleagues to share a little video on the screen. I'm going to unshare. I want you guys to see something. I want to provoke you a little bit. My colleagues, while they are busy loading my video there, I see Manamela. Is it K Manamela? You can pose a question. Before they play us this video, Manamela, please comment or question. Unmute.
Good day.
Good day, good day.
Oh, right from the top, I gotta show you some love. Thank you for those insightful stories that you're telling about that part about checking for other students more than you, more than your personal. So even Miss Mpahlele. But my actually the reason why I raised my hand is you said that if there be anyone who can convert your CDs into USB format, so I'm raising my hand. I'm guessing, unless if you're joking, of course.
I'm not joking. I really need help. I'm desperate. So please, Manamela, where are you based?
I'm in Pretoria.
I also stay that side. But please inbox me your email address. I'll contact you. Thank you so much. But now back to our presentation. I want us to observe the screen and watch this video. Thank you so much, colleagues. Let's reserve questions for afterwards, and then let's watch this video. I want you to see something here.
So this guy's about to ruin his whole life because he falls.
I hope we saw that video. The same lady who won the race is the same lady who fell. Is the same lady who fell at the start of that 800-meter run. She fell and collapsed, but she did not quit and give up. She stood up and joined the running ladies again. As she was joining the running ladies again, she realized that they were almost finished, these people. I can beat them, actually. So what I'm trying to say with that video, I want to show that no matter how much you fail, how much you collapse along the way, it happens. It can happen to any one of us. It can happen to you. It can happen to me. It happened to me many times. I can tell you my academic record is not such a good thing to watch. But at the end of the day, I say I have the degree in the bag. I can show you my undergrad academic record. I was getting the 50s. There were some modules that hit me black and white, and I even had to change them completely because they were additional modules. They were not major modules. I had to drop them. I did sociology in my first year and I failed sociology. I dropped it. I took Africans at varsity. And I thought I'm running away from sociology. And Africans showed me flames. And then people were criticizing me, asking me, why do you do Africans? I said, guys, I'm going to be a counselor. So when I see every client, I want to be conversant with their language. And it helped me a lot. At the ultimate end, I passed my Africans 1 for my BA degree. I said, thank you. I passed you. Let me leave you here. Focus on what is important for me. So without any waste of time, I want to play you another video as well. Lore, it doesn't have sound on your side, but the images are the most important things. The last video that we see there is about a guy. It's on Goldcast. It's motivational videos that I find on Facebook and YouTube. So it's about a guy who was running at the Olympics. As he was running at the Olympics, he was sprinting. They were sprinting to the finish and wanting to win the race. So he could not make it because he had a thigh injury, a muscle pull. We normally call it muscle pull in sports language. He had a muscle pull and he had to stop, and everyone had finished running their race and completed. But his father taught him that don't start something you can't finish. Even though he knew that everyone had finished, everyone were on their podium, everyone were having their energy drinks, replenishing their energy, he knew that his goal was to finish what he started. So he stood up. The officials wanted to take him off the track, but his father came along and helped him to hop through to the finish line. So it's going to be recorded in history that this guy completed the race for with how many minutes, it doesn't matter anymore. The issue is he completed. When we were graduating in 2003, yeah, before I graduated, 2003, my first degree, there was one guy who made the whole auditorium rise on their feet just to give a standing ovation because the guy did a BA degree in 10 years. The guy was very good in helping other students to understand the concepts, but he could not make it. When he wrote assignments, he would fail, but he was helping other students and they were graduating. Imagine the pain that he might have gone through. Imagine the depression. Imagine the setback. Imagine what was going on through his mind. But the day he graduated, I remember I was in that hall. It was not our group. I had failed a semester, so I had to repeat a semester. So I was supposed to graduate with him at that moment. But that guy, when he graduated, the whole auditorium at UP Mamelodi campus stood up and gave a standing ovation, including the campus principal, to say this guy was persistent. He persevered. He never quit. He never surrendered to say, I'm not going to quit. It doesn't matter how long it takes me. So what I'm trying to say to you, colleagues, the first video that we saw, the lady collapsing and rising up to win the race, some of us are going through that. You might be the first one in your family who did this degree. They might have written you off that you started a degree at age 44 or at age 50. But what I'm saying to you is that personal achievement is more important than other people being impressed with you out there. So remember, we are still on goal setting. So as you set your goals, it's not going to come easy. There's going to be obstacles. There's going to be challenges. There's going to be setbacks. Sometimes financial exclusions. Sometimes UNISA will exclude you for poor academic performance, but don't quit. Make sure that you complete. Sipho Stix Mabuse, the musician, he completed his matric at a very old age, almost at 60 years old. He did not have a matric, but he told himself, I'm going back to school to do my matric. Thank you so much, Gloria. And this one that we see on the screen, this guy, he finished the race. It is recorded on the history books in the Olympics that this guy completed his race. So what I'm saying to you guys is that no matter how long it takes you, yes, Ms. Mpatlele said people were sending her messages. Where are you? I'm at the graduation. Where are you? You know that pain? Yeah? FOMO. That you could not make it. And they don't know your problems. They don't know your struggles. They don't know where you come from. Yet they are competing with you. So I'm here to encourage you that UNISA is not for everyone. Yes, they are studying at UJ, at West, at other universities. They have lecturers in front of them. But what I want to encourage you is that you are far better. You are far able to stand on your own. Okay. There's also distractions to goal setting. Number one, we have procrastination. You did mention with Ms. Mpatlele that some of your challenges is postponements, procrastination, overloading. You have too many commitments. You have too many things that you are doing in your plate. Lack of passion. Sometimes you are discouraged. You lack motivation. But let me tell you, be encouraged that this guy completed the marathon or the race long after others have completed. But today he can say, I completed the course. Comfort zone can also be an enemy of success. An enemy of you achieving your goals is comfort zone or comfortability. When you're too comfortable, you go in nowhere. I can tell you that for the child to come out of the womb is because they are feeling discomfort. The space is becoming smaller and smaller, and the child says, I want to stretch my legs now. I want to stretch my arms. And when the child wants to come out, they don't ask for your permission. They don't care whether your doctor told you that you are due in May and now it's already March. The child says, sorry, taxi driver, I want to get off. And they ask, when do you want to get off? He says, right now. They don't care whether you are at the funeral or at your wedding or at class or you are in a taxi. When the child wants to come out, they want to come out. You cannot stop them. Some of the distractions to goal setting is wrong choices and also premature decisions or early successes. Sometimes early success, you pass assignments, you pass 3 assignments with distinctions, you start relaxing and thinking that you've won the race. I would also call it false labor. Those who have kids already, they know that there are some cramps that will come and you think, no, it's time, but it's not yet time. So don't relax and don't take it easy. Relax only after the finish line. So what I want to say again to you, winning lotto is not a goal, it's a dream. You cannot plan when you're going to win lotto and how much you're going to win. It's just a dream. And there's no accidental goal that you can achieve. For you to achieve a particular goal, you need to put effort, you need to be determined, you need to be precise, you need to be hated, you need to be called names that you think you are better. When we call you to parties, you tell us that you are studying. When we call you to go and hang out, you tell us you are going to the library. So winning lotto is not a goal, it's just a dream.
Can I also add on to the goal setting, if you don't mind? I'd also like to suggest to mostly our students, or at least challenge them to create a vision board. In that way, they'll be able to keep track and progress and focus on their goals. And guys, don't expect manna from heaven. You equally need to put in the effort in order for you to actually see your vision board actually becoming reality. And also don't forget to at least apply the SMART rule. Like Mr. Mekwa said, don't set goals that are unachievable. And I'm also confident that Mr. Mekwa and Ms. Mpatlele's presentation will inspire, motivate, and empower you to take control of your time and achieve your goals.
Good afternoon. Thank you for the opportunity. This session has been very empowering and insightful. So my question is, I would like to know what are the practical tools that one can use to measure their long-term goals and the short-term ones, irregardless of the things, the challenges one can face in trying to actually fulfill those goals. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you so much, Crystal. Maybe in summary, I don't know if we were to take the next question, but Van Hesten said that he wanted to emphasize the issue of perseverance in achieving goals. He said it on the chat. So Crystal is asking, what tools can you use to measure short-term and long-term goals? Number one, what you can do, but this, remember, is not a blanket approach. What works for me might not work for you, and what works for you might not work for other people. So what you can do, you can put down a checklist or a what do you call a vision board, like as Evelyn was saying. You put it down to say, I want to achieve 20 things. Then as time goes, you start eliminating to say, this one, I've done it already, or this one is not relevant anymore. So you do an elimination process that you can tick things off. I was talking to someone, we were busy arranging a funeral. So I said to them, for you guys to be able to achieve your goal that on Saturday you are able to bury, just do a checklist or do it like a project management. So you need to know that we need a cow, we need a coffin, we need this and this and this. So whatever that you manage to achieve at that moment, you remove it from the list and you are only remaining with the ones that are still to be achieved. So in terms of your short-term and long-term goals, it depends what kind of a goal you want to achieve. Some goals are big, some goals they are long-term, but they have short-term steps. They have short-term goals inside the bigger goal. So if you want to achieve your degree, The short-term goals will be passing your assignments, passing a semester. Then in that way, you know that you are getting closer to the bigger goal, which is your degree.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for the helpful information. My question is on the year modules. If you have any tips, any practical tips on how to do several year modules at once, like 5 of them, for example, how to break them all down. Is it like, on a Monday, do one module, on a Tuesday, like keeping up with all of them at the same time? Or do you suggest you focus on one at a time up until maybe assignment, the assignment being the marker, and then you move on to the next one to say, okay, cover all the work till the next assignment? So like just practical tips. It's my first time doing year modules. I'm used to the semester ones. If you have any tips on that, thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Mekwa, for insightful information. I don't know whether it's a question or something that maybe I'm going through. How would you advise when you come to a position, even if you planned on, you get to call writer's block? It is sometimes in a position taking quite a while where you already have plans on how to go about modules and your daily task. And then as you get to the grip, already your plan is a bit out of line. When you planned on saying, I want to reach this goal by this day, I want to reach this goal by this day. By the time you get to getting into what you have to write, you are like, I don't know whether to call it a fatigue or a bit stressed up. So how would you advise that you mustn't lose track of your time, yet at the same time, when you've got this, what you said are distractions, we can deal with them much better and move on? Thank you.
My question is to Mr. Kagiso. He mentioned the outdated information. So in my case, I have diplomas, degrees that they are old, I can say like that. So my challenge is right now when I'm applying for some vacancies, teaching posts, I can say the teaching post, they say that my curriculum is old and then the things that I've achieved are no longer in align with the new curriculum. And then also the other degree that I qualified for, when I have a challenge with getting the job because they don't match the current curriculum and whatever they need. So in this regard, I don't know what must I do because I have more than 5 qualifications, but they're not doing me for anything. I'm struggling to get a job because they tell me that they're old curriculum. So in this regard, what must I do? Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much for your questions. And I do believe that Mr. Mekwa did cover on goal setting regarding having a calendar and at least aligning your goals and managing your time, especially with the modules and how to go about your modules. The only best way to do this is to at least have your timetable and see which assignment is first and go according to sequence and understand the content of your module and whatever that you're studying before you can say you're going to do your assignment. And in that way, it'll allow you to at least do your assignment and be on time. That's the only way you can go about it. And also making sure that you do have enough time, you do allocate your activities according to your availability. And then the other ones, Mr. Mekwa, I'll let you answer it.
Okay, thank you so much, Evelyn. With regard to all qualifications, every qualification has a lifespan. The degree that I graduated with in 2003 is not relevant anymore. The curriculum is very, very much outdated because we're touching on things that are not applicable now. Now we are talking about AI, we are talking about artificial intelligence, talking about ChatGPT and other things which were not there at that moment. So imagine me coming to compete with you who did your BA degree, psychology and English in this era. We are going to compete for the same position and they want to hire me before they hire you. So yes, it's important that we self-develop, all of us, and remember that the qualification has a lifespan. Just like if you register in UNISA, they tell you that you have 8 years to complete your degree. When you come back on the 9th year or the year after, they tell you this qualification is not offered anymore. We had to change the curriculum. So yes, they get outdated, they get old, and we need to renew them or do a new curriculum, or there are some new additional modules that need to be done. With regard to the issue of year modules and semester modules, Ms. Mpakele touched on that we also need to prioritize. UNISA helps you also to do short-term and long-term goals. The ultimate goal is for you to write the exam and pass. But before you write your exam, the assignments are like your short-term goals that build up towards the bigger goal of achieving your degree. And remember, not all modules have exams. There are some modules which are more like continuous assessment. You write tests, you write assessments, you do projects, and once you pass those, then you get your degree. So don't always look at the exams and neglect the assignments or the projects that you need to do. So make sure that you keep checking your My UNISA, My Life account. Check your phone. You get SMSs about the groups. They allocate you to groups per module and then say that you need to do some activities during a particular month. And some of them, once they close, they're already closed. They cannot open them again. So make sure that you don't relax and only wait for the postman or for the courier guy, but keep checking your email. So the courier now comes in the form of your email. Thank you, Evelyn.
I'd like to call upon our next speaker, who is Miss Palisa Kolokoto, who is a trainee career guidance practitioner here at the University of South Africa, Florida. She'll be sharing with us her insights about her personal experiences from a student's perspective.
Thank you, Evelyn. Good morning, everyone. My name is Balisa Faith Luisa Kolokoto, and I am a trainee career guidance practitioner from Florida. As I mentioned, my name is Balisa Faith Luisa Kolokoto, and I'm here to tell you how I balance my work, books, and family life. I am a mother, a wife, a trainee career guidance practitioner intern at UNISA Florida campus. I have 2 honors degrees, one in criminal justice and one in psychology, and I'm currently pursuing a master's degree in criminal justice at UNISA. My goal is basically to combine my love for criminal justice as well as psychology in order to become a forensic psychologist. And if that doesn't work out, I'm planning on becoming a lecturer that specializes in forensic psychology. Having to balance between taking care of my family, school, work, and also having a social life can be quite stressful. So one of the things that I do in order to ensure that I achieve my goals is figuring out what my long-term and short-term goals are. For example, with me, my long-term goal would be being a forensic psychologist or a lecturer which specializes in forensic psychology. And my short-term goal is completing my proposal because I am currently doing my master's. If you are unsure of what you want in life, there's an exercise that is called the Johari window. So, a Johari window is basically a psychological tool which can be used for self awareness, personal growth, and interpersonal relationships. The first quadrant, which is this one, open self, is information about yourself, such as your name, job title, or even what you're studying and your year of study. The second quadrant, which is hidden self, is information about yourself that only you know about, but other people don't know, such as your feelings or inner thoughts. The third quadrant, which is blind to self, is information about yourself that other people don't know about you, that other people know about you, but you yourself are not aware of, such as your habits or behaviors that you do that you are not aware of. The fourth quadrant, which is unknown self, this is information about yourself that neither you nor others know, such as your hidden talents that you may not have discovered yet. The Johari window is beneficial because it helps you to be aware of yourself and identify areas in your life that need work. Being fully aware of oneself also helps with developing emotional intelligence, and being emotionally intelligent will help you have continuous effective relationships. So, time management. Time management is very important when it comes to achieving your goals. We already had a presentation on time management, so I'm not going to explain what it means. One thing about me is that I'm a very anxious person, so I always make sure I complete my assignments at least 2 days before the due date. Because if I were to do it one day on the day that the assignment is due, or even a day before it's due, my anxiety would peak and I would make silly avoidable mistakes such as forgetting to follow some of the instructions or even submitting the wrong assignment. Another thing that helps with my anxiety is making sure I have full information regarding my assignments, which is why I don't leave my assignment to the last minute, just in case I have questions regarding the assignments that I would need to ask the lecturer. Uh, just to quote something Benjamin Franklin said, never leave tomorrow that which you can do today. One other thing that I do in order to make sure that I am on point with everything that I do, like my assignments and everything, is that I write sticky notes. Even in my office right now, there are like sticky notes all over the office. So the sticky notes I would write all the tasks that I need to do, and it also helps me ensure that I don't forget anything that I'm supposed to do, or that I don't wait until the last minute to do it. Another method of time management can be to have a calendar posted on your wall, then writing all the tasks on the dates. But the trick is not to write on the day that the task is due, rather write it on 2 days before it's due, or even 3 days before the task is due. Ms. Mpatela gave us other time management tools because what works for me might not work for you. So you need to find something that works for you, because not only do we have different goals, we have different priorities. For example, Ms. Mpatela mentioned that she usually begins with something easy and then moves on to more difficult tasks. Whereas with me, I prefer to start with a difficult task so I can get it out of the way. How I deal with procrastination regarding assignments, or in my case right now, proposal, is that I would make sure I complete a topic, a chapter a day. I don't force myself to do everything in one day, which is why it's important for me to begin the task that I have to do when I have more than enough time. I had a friend in high school. How she would study is that she would buy M&Ms. So after each and every chapter, when she finished reading the chapter, she would reward herself with an M&M. So that's another thing, or a method of studying that you could use. But like I mentioned, what works for me or what works for her might not work for you. Exercise is also important because it helps get rid of fatigue. It doesn't have to be those hectic exercises where you have to go to the gym and sweat and everything. But then you can do something as small as taking a walk, or instead of taking the elevator, rather take the stairs, just to keep yourself, active. And it is also important to not only take care of your physical health, but also your mental health. See a counselor, make it a habit. Don't wait until it's too late to seek help. Remember to also make time for family and friends, and don't ever neglect your social life. But also remember to not let it take over your life. Having a healthy work, school, and life balance is crucial in being a functioning member of society. To end off my presentation, I'm going to leave you with a quote from Zig Ziglar. You don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great.
Oh, so I wanted to ask if there is
if you have any information on how to register for face-to-face tutorials. Thank you.
Okay, maybe to answer the student, currently we don't have face-to-face tutorials. Our tutorials like are online, so it's very important that you always check your My UNISA, because that is where the information is going to be posted regarding your tutorial classes. And then secondly, normally what happens here at the campus is just a group of people, maybe they form a study group and they study together, because we have venues where you can study if you're not able to do it at home. Others join WhatsApp groups, but also it's also important we have mentors here in the region. If you're looking for a mentor, the link was posted. If you didn't get it, you can maybe email one of us and then we will send you the link. So with the mentors is at least it's like you have a coach, someone who's going to help you to navigate the whole thing with Odell and how to succeed going forward. I hope that helps.
Thank you very much for the opportunity. I just have a quick question for Mr. Mekua in terms of goals and structuring your goals. I just want to find out because, I've tend to notice with me that sometimes my goal will change or my goals will change from time to time. When would you know when it is time to, excuse me, reevaluate your goals, and how would you determine whether it's time for some of your goals to change or maybe to maybe take some things off of your goals? And yeah, in terms of basically just reevaluating your goals, when would you say, or how would you know when it is time to do so, especially when it comes to your studies? Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for the question. The reevaluation of goals is continuous. You don't have a specific time to reevaluate. It's just like taking a trip. If you don't keep yourself up to date, let's say to reevaluate might be listening to the radio, checking the traffic updates, or checking your phones for messages. You find that your goal was to go to moving from Pretoria to Rustenburg. And as you're passing Haranku or going towards Brett, you get a message to say the event that you're going to has been cancelled. So if you don't continuously check, you might go to the destination and only to find that they sent you the message earlier to cancel and you are not aware. So similar with your career, you constantly need to check if your qualification is still relevant or any goal that you set to check continuously. You don't have any specific time to say, okay, I'll only evaluate my goals at the end of the year. Just like in our workplace, we have what we call performance reviews. We do mid-year and end of the year. So halfway to the year, we evaluate, we check if we are still within the lines to achieve our set goals for the year. Some goals, we are going to delete them because they are not relevant anymore, or we have already achieved them. And sometimes we have over budgeted our goals or over committed ourselves. We realize that some goals will not be achieved and will look like failures at the end of the year. So rather, let's remove them or cancel them or divert them to a different department to say, let's ask a student development department to do this one. So if I put 20 things to do in a year and by October or by September, I've only done one, it's just logical to say I might not be able to achieve the remaining 9 by December. So what I need to do is to reevaluate and refocus my energy onto something else. I might achieve one goal out of the 20, but achieve it very well. I might not achieve all 20, but you find that the only one that I achieved is better than achieving the 20. Sometimes I can achieve the 20, but only to find that it was quantity versus quality. So when we talk about priorities, that's what we are talking about, to say when you set goals, check the ones that are urgent and important. Some they are important but not urgent. Some they are urgent but not important. Like other things that you do, you need to check if you have to do them right away or you can leave them for later. And there's others that you cannot postpone for later. You have to do them immediately. Let me pause there. Thank you.
I'd like to call upon
Semi Madalani to do the closure and vote of thanks.
Thank you, Program Director. Good day, everyone. I would like to take this opportunity to express my heartfelt gratitude to everyone who made this workshop a success. A special thank you to our Program Director for leading and guiding us throughout the workshop. Thank you, Ms. Radingwana, for the warm welcome. To our speakers, Ms. Mpatlele, thank you very much for the presentation on time management. It will help us organize our time effectively and maintain a balanced approach to our responsibilities. Mr. Megwa, thank you for equipping goal setting strategies and inspiring us to achieve our objectives. Ms. Kolokoto, thank you for your heartfelt and personal reflections as a student. Your experiences has given us a deeper understanding of challenges and successes that come with navigating student life. And to all the students who took the time to attend, thank you for being part of this session. Your participation and engagement made this workshop meaningful. We hope you found the workshop informative and helpful in achieving your academic and personal goals. We've come to the end of our session. Enjoy the rest of your day.